Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode. My name is Idara. In this final episode, we are going to switch it up just a little bit. We're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about how you can color grade your footage with an Adobe Premiere Pro. So let's go ahead and hop on into it. As somebody that's been moving into more film work, but still doing a lot of photography work as well, I want to talk about how I can kind of maintain some of the same feeling in my color grading when I'm color grading films. So I had these clips that I took on vacation with my friends. We really wanted to do like these outfit checks and kind of document each of the days we were in Mexico City. Phenomenal time, if I do say so myself. And so I already kind of took all of the footage, chopped it up the way I wanted it to be, and kind of placed all of my clips down. But as you can see, there is no color on any of these images. So I really want to focus on how I can color grade this footage. So we're gonna start with this initial image here. And first thing I wanna call out is that I have a LUT on here. So regardless of the camera body that you're utilizing, whether you're using a Sony, a Canon, whatever the case might be, you can add LUTs onto your footage. So this is a completely raw footage. We are shooting in log specifically. That is the raw format of film. Similar to when you're shooting photography in RAW, that is basically a desaturated image. So that way you have the opportunity to really pull those colors, your saturation, contrast, all of the things. So I have my LUT already hidden here for my Sony camera. I'm using S-Log2. And so that is already inputted in here. You can kind of go ahead to your camera body's website and you can find the LUTs for that specific camera body. The next thing that we're really gonna do is focus on actual, like the basic color corrections for this film here. And so I like to go through each of these sliders just one by one. I really don't have a science to it. I'm gonna start here with just doing the exposure, messing around with the temperature too to kind of get an idea of the feel. I do like to add a little bit of a green tint. I don't know what it is about adding that green tint. It just feels really nice. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add some contrast, play around my highlights a bit, get an idea of where I want that to sit, and then shadows as well. And then I have my whites and my blacks. So that already looks really nice. Then we're gonna go into our creative tab. If you have color lookup, you could add that here. If you have a specific LUT, a lot of people sell LUTs, a lot of creators would do that. Or you can utilize the ones that come in here that are provided by Adobe if you want to add any of these in here. And then you can kind of work with increasing or decreasing the intensity. So I'm going to remove that. And then I just really like to focus on adding some color to my shadows and highlights and create a little bit of a tint. I really like to add like a little bit of green into my shadows. And then I like that like kind of orangey red color into my highlights. I think that looks really cute. And then I play out with the tint balance to kind of get an idea of where I want it to sit between the two colors. I'm gonna add a little bit of that faded film look. Yeah, that looks really nice. And then I like to go back and forth between each of the different segments just because I might want to adjust something as I'm going. So I always go back to my basic correction tab so that way I can make some adjustments there. So let's look at where we started and where we are right now. I like how that looks like with those adjustments there. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add some curves. Now here, I just like to do a quick little S curve, very similar to what I do when I'm editing in both Lightroom and Photoshop. And then you have your color wheels as well. Similar to what we did here with the tint, we're gonna be adding colors to our shadows, our midtones, our highlights. I like to do this in photography as itself. It's one of my favorite tips when it comes to color grading. I think this is where you get that cinematic feel. And so again, I have no real science behind this. Just play around, add colors. You can even use the sliders to get an idea of the intensity. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I like where the colors are sitting. Or if I don't, I can make some adjustments where I see fit. Ooh, I love that. I'm a fan, I'm a fan, I'm a fan. So now I have all these other clips here and I want to copy my adjustments onto each of the clips. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to right click and then I'm going to click on copy and it's going to copy over the color grade. So when I click on my clip and I click paste, you're going to see that it's just copying over the color grade itself. So I'm going to go ahead and Command Z so I can do it on all of my clips. And then right click again, paste attributes and enter. And then you can see that that color grade has now been applied to every one of these clips. Then if I feel that anything needs to be adjusted, I can click on each of the individual clips and make some adjustments. I love how this came together. I love the color of it all. Let me show you guys that before and after with all the adjustments we made. That way you guys can go ahead and get an idea of how you can play around with colors within Premiere Pro and really want to challenge you to try to utilize exploring a new media. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. And this brings us to the end of this series, y'all. I can't believe we have already gone through 8 episodes. That to me is crazy. Thank you guys so much for joining and watching this entire series through and through. I hope you learned something new that you can add to your creative toolbox. I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to teach you guys a little bit about some of the tips and tricks that I love when it comes to my work. And make sure that you guys go ahead and check the description box below for this footage so that way you can play around with color grading as well. And yeah, until next time, y'all, I will catch y'all somewhere on the internet. Feel free to follow me on social media. And yep, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.